everyone. Welcome to the Promo Observer. I'm Dr. Quack, and as you can see, I got the two men here above, Mr. Bones, Mr. Wave Seltzer. Both these men very knowledgeable in the promo game. And tonight we're going to be talking about WGP versus Foundation, the two big shows, bringing the heat, and we'll be talking about Guts and Glory. Can y'all hear me?
Oh, man. Hey.
All right, cool.
You're...
There we are, man. Yeah, thank you for tuning in, folks. Yeah, you got any opinions, you put them down here on the comments section. We definitely want to hear them. But I want to start with WOW. Start with WGP, but what they do. Something I noticed, this was first thing off I noticed, their countdown. Like, their countdown to me, it really just stood out. It had the matches there in there, so you knew who was fighting when it was coming to bringing the heat. Like, if you were somebody who never seen WGP, your friend said, hey, come on over, check this out. You would know already, hey, you got a pretty stacked card. Wait, what do you got there, Wave?
Yeah, 100%, man. I was right there with you while that countdown was going on. And I'm seeing the match card. And I'm like, okay, that's a nice touch. I don't think I've ever noticed that before. I'm not sure if it was the first time, but it definitely gave me a clear picture of what to expect, And if you're a fan of the promo world and promo battles and all that, and you are into some of these artists that are performing or in competition, it gave you the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, that match looks dope. I would be into that. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy and whatnot. So it was a nice touch. I liked it.
Bones, what you got?
With me as somebody who is consistently on the record with hating the fact that there's a countdown. So, like, you tell me the show's on at 9, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be there at 9. I get there at 9, they're like, okay, now wait 5 minutes. I really hate that. But as far as, like, if you're going to use it, that's probably the best way you could possibly use it. Even though I still would rather see it abolished as a whole. Like, if you tell me it's on at 9, just start at 9. If you're going to do a countdown, do the countdown 5 minutes before 9, so I can just come at 9. Give me a countdown for when I get there too early, and there's something for me to watch when I get there. That would be the change I would say make on that countdown thing. But as far as like the presentation and how they did it, yeah, I kind of was feeling it, just like giving me a nice little preview of what's about to happen.
Yeah. So there you go, Wade. Let's ask this, Mr. Wallace. How would you rate his commentary?
I would say it was flawless. For me, it was like 9 out of 10. 10 out of 10. He's phenomenal, especially leading into the main event. My man lost it, and it made me want to lose it too. So he really set the tone.
Yeah, he absolutely made me more hyped for my own match than I was previously, and I'm a mark for myself. So he always brings it to another level of excitement as I'm watching, which makes it more entertaining. I have more anticipation, and then after the match, his reaction to the match is like, it makes me feel like I'm not watching it by myself. Like, it's like being with somebody else watching it, so like we can mark out to it together. Like the way that he reacted to Ramboa beating me for the title, which, by the way, we need to update our little intro because I no longer have any titles. But the way he reacted made it feel super important that he had just beaten me for the title, which is like it's better for Ramboa going forward, making him look like he's more above.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, the best thing about what Mr. Wallace does is you have a match. He comes out there. He says what he needs to say. He goes on to the next match, or maybe possibly hype if it's a Wild Out Wednesday. He just, he keeps the flow going.
He doesn't take too much time.
Like 5 minutes. That's just another thing that gets me. But, he does a really good job on that. All right, here we go. Let's start with this, Bones. You got this one here, the big opener. Dante Black, DB Greatness, bringing the heat.
For me personally, that was my match of the night. DB is consistent. Black DB, because we got two DBs in this one. Black DB is consistent every time. Every time DB is gonna give me that delivery, it's gonna make me feel like everything he says is the most important thing ever said, regardless of what he's actually saying. Sometimes I have to watch his promos twice because I'm so enthralled by the way that he's delivering that I'm not really giving him a fair assessment on his like actual words or content. Then DB White, Dante Black brought himself to another level, which he seems to do whenever he seems to play to his competition, which in this case helped him a lot. So this match for me was fantastic. I definitely say this was the match of the night for me.
Okay. Wave?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. Taking off the journalistic hat off and putting the coach hat on, I'm very proud of Dante Black, man. We've been able to give Dante a lot of judging and critiquing these last few months since I first started watching him in December. And I feel like this was the promo where I really saw that he took all the criticism and really applied it. I don't know if he did it in spite of what everyone said or if he used it as just knowledge to be applied, but whatever his motivation was, he truly succeeded. And then DB, being the OG in the match, really was a true ringleader with this because as great as Dante Black's promo was, he took that and just said, nah, you ain't on my level. It was almost as if he knew exactly how he was going to come and he was prepared. He didn't take him lightly, which was brilliant. You know, it's easy to sometimes take a younger competitor lightly, but he didn't. And it really set the tone for an amazing match, which set the bar high for the show at large.
I think you got something there on that, Bones, though. Yeah, Dante Black, if he's not facing somebody strong or somebody that he has to like really focus on, yeah, you see him play down to that competition. I think you see that. But this match, yeah, we rated 3 3/4 stars. The competitors weren't exactly happy because we didn't give it a full 4. But yeah, I mean, it was a great opener. You couldn't ask for a better opener on this show.
Yeah, they gotta understand that we are grading harshly. Once you get a 4-star, you're gonna feel like it was a 4-star. If somebody gets a 5-star, it's gonna be a 5-star. It's not gonna be like, oh well, this was no. When you get a 5-star, it's gonna be excellence. So when you get 3 1/4, that's good from us. We're actually trying to give you guys real harsh and put you where you need to be at, so that it's no confusion. So 3 1/4 stars is actually good. Don't take that as a knock, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it was definitely a great match there. Moving along here you go, Wade. You got Sean Puff taking on Gunshot.
I mean, for what it's worth, Sean Puff and his new gimmick, his esoteric personality, it's fun. He's getting better. It looks like he could just kind of, just sit there and pull from the hip and just shoot whatever he's just building his character, and it's coming across very well. So I'd give that like a B average, maybe like 2 stars, 2.5 for me. Just him alone, but then Gunshot no showing, that obviously brings it down a lot. Now we got a debut, and I don't really know Mad T like that, but I thought he did pretty good for a new face that I've never seen before. And I think it was brilliant for WGP from a production standpoint, to utilize this spot right here for a hype. All right, we had somebody who couldn't show up. He had whatever going on in his personal life. Let's not waste the moment. Let's utilize it to introduce someone new. I thought this was very smart. It just wasn't an empty debut or an empty hype on a big show. It was meaningful. So I thought they succeeded overall.
Yeah. Bones, how do you feel about that? Did they cover up the no-show well?
They did, but at the same time, it still brought the match down completely a lot for me. That there was a no-show, and I know there's nothing they can do about it. But realistically, I can't say anything other than it being a no-show was a problem for me. In general, it kind of made me not even really care about the promo I had seen before the no-show. Other than that, I agree with everything that Wave said.
Yeah, me too. I mean, the big thing here, you look at what happened. Mad T comes up. I mean, he's a guy now branching out into the promo world, trying to get his name back out there. I mean, Gunshot, that was just horrible. Why would you no-show a match? That's one thing I've never gotten from people. I mean, you've had like a month to do this. You can't cut a 3.5-minute promo. Even if it's suck ass, you still can't cut a 3.5-minute promo. I mean, come on, dude. You're booked. You accept that booking. That's called responsibility. That's being an irresponsible Pro Bowl artist. It's trash, you know. But
People are
yes,
depending on you.
yeah, Sean Puff, did a phenomenal job. I love his work. He does a great job out there. Keep that shit up, man. Seriously. But all right, so what we got next here? Oh yeah, here we go. Bones, I'm gonna let you start with this one. Yeah, Chosen against Reunited Nation. You know about tag teams.
That was a great promo by Tyler Drummond.
What about his partner there?
He did okay. This was like one of his weakest. I ain't gonna say one of. This was the weakest showing I've seen from him as far as long as I've been watching the tag team. I don't know what was going on there. This just felt like the entire match was on Tyler's extremely big back because Tyler fat. To be fair, if anybody doesn't know, Tyler's on a weight loss journey, and I told him I was gonna get every fat joke I could off before he gets skinny. So I'm not being harsh. It's motivation, but he fat. So it felt like this entire match was on Tyler's back squarely. I feel like Tyler put in most of the work on the writing part of his promo as well. So like, and then when you got Reunited Nation, I mean, this is my first time actually watching them. So I don't know if they normally do better than this, but to me, like, they promo was just whack in general. It didn't really even feel like cohesive or anything. Like, zero replayability for me. I had to watch it because it's my job.
And that's exactly how I felt. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Reunited Nation plenty of times, and they looked out of sorts. They did not look like the same tag team that they've been in other feds. This one here looked like it was all thrown together. Yeah, I'm with you on that with Tyler Drummond. Yeah, he came out there. He really did a great job, and he carried that team, and Jason Ridian did enough to where it made it count. Wave, how you feel?
I want to echo those sentiments. Tyler was clearly the star of that match. When I first watched it for the first time, it wasn't that bad. You know, I've never seen Reunited Nation before. And I didn't, overall, I thought it was okay. But it didn't have the replay value. I've watched the show back now 3 or 4 times as a fan and also as a judge too, just trying to like gather information. And the second time I watched that match back, I was like, man, this is not fun. And that's overall how I felt about it.
Yeah, it could have been better. I mean, you could definitely tell that Chosen is a more formidable team here, and that's why they're the champs. I mean, they've been, working well together. It's came out pretty good. Oh, here we go. Good old Wave, yeah. Here we go. Chance Young, Jack Saban. By the way, that match got 2.5 stars, the tag team match. But yeah, Wave, what you got there? Chance Young, Jack Saban.
This was honestly the best performance from both of them so far. They over-delivered. Now, mind you, their expectation was pretty low. If I was being sincere here, you kind of are expecting a lower level type BXT type match, and then I thought that both of these guys brought their all the criticism, much like Dante did, just on a lower level, for all the criticism that had been given to them in a few short weeks, honestly, because we only know Chance the Mayhem for a few weeks now, and they applied it. So from that point of view, I was proud of them. I was proud of Saban. I've been working with Saban for a while, but overall, I would definitely have to say that this had to be the weakest match on the card, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I mean, Bones, do you think Chance Young has lived up to that number 3 draft pick yet, or do you think he ever will?
I don't think he ever will. It's not. No, he never will. Even when he gets better, he still won't live up to being like that high of a pick at all. Considering the people he went over, he'll never get better than the people he went over. And as far as this match goes, there's a reason why you have a weekly show, okay? Like, as far as how this entire thing was booked, you had way more than enough matches to where you could have put this on WoW. It did in itself exceed its expectations, but like, you had the expectations. So when you make the match, you expect it to be this good. and expected to be as good as you expected to be, you shouldn't have put it on the pay-per-view. I don't. Did they have a story going into this that I missed? Maybe because I don't recall. So like they didn't have any type of build for it, so you could have just put this on WoW. Is my opinion on this match. It definitely was the weakest match in the card. Putting this on WoW would have made this entire show much better. Although I want to give them praise for also both of them having their good outings, and this was really good between the two of them. But I just feel like this was the weakest match in the card. The card had too many matches as is. If we didn't have a no-show, it would have been much longer. So like the way it was planned, they shouldn't have planned to have this match.
Yeah. I mean, Jack Saban almost got a 90 there. That says a lot to me. That means the progression in him is growing. The people that are working with him behind stage, they're doing a great job with him. I mean, I think that's a big plus.
It's not much of a storyline, but I know the intention behind Saban calling out Mayhem was just, you're a 3. You're a 3. All right, let me show you how much of a 3 you're not. It was just a challenge, but more or less it does correlate with this storyline of Hunter Matthews making poor decisions. So, in my opinion, it's pretty relevant.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like I said, Jack Saban's really coming along here. Chance Young, he's getting that improvement. I'm with you, though, Bones. I don't think he lives up to that number 3. That's just a rough pick. But, will he come out there and potentially win a championship? Maybe in 6 months, maybe. That's my prediction on that. I'm going to start with this one, though. AJ Davis, El Guapo. Let me tell you, this was a heated battle. This was something that was really good to see. Both these guys really came at each other. This was something that you wanted in a match in this card, and this was like really heavily built. You felt the anger in it. It was just phenomenal. I mean, it was a close fight. I truly enjoyed this match. This was something that I could say, yeah, I would have replay value on. Bones?
Yeah. I agree with you completely. Like, I wouldn't say like the promos themselves as standalones were just so great, but together against each other and matched up, it was a great match to me, like, because of that. And 1 point difference was perfect reflection. I don't know how the judges judged it, but I know at 1 point difference is a perfect reflection for how this match felt to me. Like, it was just a close dogfight, and I really enjoyed watching it together, going against each other. It's one of those matches that felt like a match. It didn't feel like how good is this promo versus how good is this promo.
Yeah, 100%, man. I'm a huge fan of boxing, man, and one of the things I love about boxing is that when you're watching that main event, like when you're watching a show with a big main event, one of the perks of like seeing a Mayweather fight or whomever is on top is that undercard. You see people that you might not ever like have seen before, and you get an opportunity to see these young guys come up in the rankings, and you're like, oh shit, these two guys are pretty good. These two guys are the future. And you get to see like a first glimpse of who's going to be a potential top guy in the future. And that's what this match felt like to me. It felt like two young guys who had something huge to prove, and neither one disappointed, man. I agree, man. That 1 point difference was well deserving.
Yeah, I want to talk to y'all about something, though, because we had the Chance Young Jack Saban match, and then we had the Blunt Man commercial with T. Meltzer, right? That was that little skit. And then we had AJ Davis, El Guapo, and then we had the big LT coming out there with his skit and getting attacked by Blunt Man. How did you guys feel about that? Wade, you want to start on that one?
Overall, like I felt like there was no reason for these guys to have a joint hype and then both have individual hypes as well. Not to say that either of those three hypes shouldn't belong on a show. Like, I just felt like maybe one would have been just fine. Why they should have found a way to encapsulate all three of those, the point of those three hypes, into one. Spread apart throughout the show was a little bit overkill. If I would have just gotten one of these hype, preferably for me, the T Meltzer hype was the best out of the three. I would have just kept that one and kept it pushing. And that would have gave me enough of an impression of, okay, who are these guys and what do they want to do? But the three of them together, I was like, that's too much.
Okay. Well,
I don't have anything to add to that. That's literally how I feel.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I thought it was good placement, especially after the AJ Davis El Wapo match. It was a good little cool off, give you time to digest the match you just saw. I think I was okay with that. But yeah, I mean, too many of those in a show just really can just back everything up. It can kill a flow. This one did. It wasn't horrible. Like it made everything still continue on. But yeah, after that, here you go, Bones. We got Bojack Grizz, Iceman, Bobby Miller.
What a body. What was the score? What was the score to that? You had the score?
I don't have the score, but I know Iceman ended up winning.
I felt like Iceman didn't win by nearly enough points. This was a squash to me. I don't even like. I mean, if I'm being fair, I don't even remember Bojack's promo. I just remember thinking of how big of a difference there was between the talent that was there. I mean, I guess as far as the booking goes, everybody deserves a chance at that title. It's the mid-card title, right? Maybe Bobby just needs to not be the mid-card champion because he's clearly top-tier talent. Especially when you look at how the roster has been built, there's like 3 or 4 guys who you say are like main event guys. No, 3 guys maybe to me. And Bobby's one of them, so I don't know. Maybe find somebody to take that title off of him. Maybe put the odds against Bobby, throw him in a gauntlet match. I don't know, but that's how, because we're going to end up with matches like we have to end up with matches like this because you got to give guys a shot at the mid card title.
Yeah,
but as far as I'm concerned, it was very one sided. But I still enjoyed it, and that's not to knock Bojack too much. He went against Bobby.
Right, Bobby's great. In this promo here, he was more serious. He was more determined. I really loved that. The biggest thing I saw with Bojack was he had like the edit problem where it looked like he was the ghost of Christmas past. He had this big white line going all the way around his body. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Like, just take that off, bro.
Wade, what you got?
Bojack Grizz, I think he did all right. For a debut match, I had no expectations for him. I've never seen him before, so I thought it was an excellent presentation into his character and whatnot. He did the smart thing and assumed that people were going to talk about his weight or his teeth or whatever, and which he called it right. Bobby did talk about his weight, as he should. It's competition. You want to pull from your resources. You want to pull from whatever you have. I'm not against those kind of things. Some people are a little bit more sensitive about it. I personally enjoy it. However, in no point in time in any real competitive league should Bojack have ever been put in that position, especially so quickly, man. Bobby Miller, like you said, is a main event talent. And to me, I've been watching Bobby Miller now for over 2 years. When I first started watching promos, he was one of my faves. And I think this might have been my favorite promo out of all of them. I mean, just from an OG standpoint, like he felt so comfortable. In no point in time did he not know what he was doing, and he turned up at the perfect moment. I thought this was a perfect Bobby Miller promo.
Yeah, did a phenomenal job on that. That came out at 3.5 stars. Really great match here, especially on Bobby's end. He did a great job. But here, I'm going to start with this one here because this is 2.25 stars. And there's a reason why. Buckshot Elijah McFly. Buckshot. How many times are you going to put in there fucking cry about it? Seriously? Damn, how many edits do you got to hit? I'm just going to talk for a few minutes, fucking cry about it. I'm going to walk off screen, talk for a few minutes. I'm like, come on, man. What are you doing? I mean, it's not bad, but damn, you only had to do that once or twice. Maybe throw that at the end. I think that's where it killed his promo because Elijah McFly, he came out with his stick. He did a decent job. I mean, this is what I didn't get. How did this come down to a 4th judge? Did one judge go, I love this, fucking cry about it? What are they fucking thinking? Boom, go ahead.
I feel like the fucking cry about it could have been executed better. I'm not mad at him doing that because, like, realistically, that's one of my things that I do. But like the way it's done, it's like watching walk on. It felt like a complete stop to the promo that way. It's like full stop, start, unpause, instead of like it seeming like a natural flow of things. And it really made everything he said in between so disjointed to me, to the point where I'm like, and Elijah McFly, sometimes I feel like he trash. Sometimes I feel like he's amazing. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess when that title's not on the line, he just don't care. Because those non-title matches he had was just like title on the line. All of a sudden, we get a different monster.
Wade?
I love this match, man. First thing I did, as everyone did, is let Buckshot know, hey, man, you gotta tighten up your edits, man. You gotta really tighten up those edits. I felt like the layout, his vision was there. He just didn't know how to make it look clean. And there was just too much of a gap in between where I'm watching it happen, and I'm like, man, you should have hollered at me like 2 weeks in advance or something. I would have let you know what's wrong with this.
He told me like the day before he turned it in.
No, he showed it to me after he turned it in. I'm like, what? How can I help you? But anyways, yeah, I think that once he masters his timing on the editing and all this, I think that gimmick that he's working on is going to be much better. I like it. I think this is a step up from what he's been doing. But then you got McFly, man. Even if he would have tightened it up, I think that promo wins, even if the editing is perfect on it. Because McFly just went straight bare bones on him, man. And I only counted one slip up. One slip up in 6 minutes of ranting. Dog, that's impressive. I think he did very well. This match exceeded my expectations by far, man. I thought it was hot.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it here, that was a good match, as far as McFly goes. And I'm with you. Sometimes he needs to, step up his game in non-title matches. You see that with him. He plays down to the competition. But yeah, the big match, the main event here. 2 men on screen. Mr. Bones, Mr. Ramboa. Oh my God. Let me tell you, that was a great match, guys. I'm just going to tell you the way I saw it. I mean, hard hitting. You guys came with it. We got a new champion. I mean, it was a great main event to have. I'll let you guys speak on it. Wade, if you want to start with this one.
Yeah, I'll leave my portion alone. Because obviously I'm biased. And I don't want to be too. I don't want to say anything damaging about myself. So I'll just let you guys do that. As far as Bones, it felt like he wasn't trying, yet he executed so much, like he wasn't giving his all, but he did so much with that anyway. He was dropping a lot of facts, or a lot of perceived facts. His charisma, his cadence is always on par. And I just felt like that promo could have beaten a lot of promos, and he could have beaten me on an off night too. And you could tell that wasn't Bones at 100%. So that says a lot about my competition. I'm happy that this was the main event. The lead-in by Lamar was amazing, and then I felt like the match itself delivered. You got two big names, guys that hate each other, guys that are that make it sound exciting. To be a part of this main event, I'm super proud of it, and that's all I can say about it.
Bones?
Personally, I have the opposite of bias. That my bias is like I'm much harder on myself, I believe, than anyone else is. I really didn't like my promo like at all, except for like the one. Okay, so behind the scenes, I was not prepared to face Rambo again after facing him so many times. So I was like, man, I'm just gonna cut the camera on and do some stuff. So that's pretty much what I did. I just had like one little line, I'm him, not him, and I just harped on that line, which something going back that Buckshot should look at. The way that I did that did not feel at all the way that he did the cry about it thing, because like it didn't stop my promo. It was part of it rolled with my promo. I just went back to it, but the problem was that I didn't have the content behind it, behind the concept. I didn't have the content behind the concept to make it work. And I feel like either I was overscored or Rambo was underscored, but the score should have been a much bigger difference in the score. I think that the judges need to take more time to pay more attention to what's actually being said, because if you like break down what Rambo was saying to me versus what I was saying to him, it was no contest. Like I was pretty much throwing a lot of filler out while he was just like dissecting me step by step. And like whether or not it was perceived or true, half and half, but still perceived truth is kind of the name of the game here. If everybody thinks something, you ride that. So with that being said, his promo was, I feel, much better than mine. And that's why I think that DB versus DB should have been scored higher by us than our match was. And I probably the only person who scored it lower because of that. I mean, I feel like it was a great main event to watch. I just feel like the opener was better. And I don't feel like this was the best Rambo Bones match. I feel like it was a good Rambo Bones match. It was a real good main event. I feel like somebody who was watching it really enjoyed it much more than I did because I critique myself so much harder. So, I mean, I feel like 4 stars or so it probably deserved, but I kind of just feel like DB versus DB deserved 4 stars or so as well. If we did.
I can totally agree with that. Yeah, show grade, it got 3 stars as the average. But yeah, let's go from that show. Let's go to the foundation show here because now we've got a whole week.
Hold up. You ain't gonna criticize us? You ain't gonna give us no critique?
I don't think there was much to criticize there. You guys came at each other very hard. I mean, the score I didn't think was an issue. I think that it was 108 to 111. I mean, there was a 3-point gap. I mean, what much more could you do? That was a great main. It was a great build. People wanted to see you two guys come at each other. That's what they wanted to see for the championship. That was the big seller. Huh?
I said no Diddy.
No.
People want to see you two guys come at each other.
Oh, Jesus, I'm done today. But yeah, let's move on here to Foundation. Yeah, we got Guts and Glory. Now we got the other half of this, and this is a week later, roughly after the show. So we start off because we had technical issues. We couldn't get the Master of Illusions and Storyteller match on the show. And this happens times, but this was put on there on the show 10 minutes prior. Bones, what did you think of this match?
Man, as far as I've even let Master of Illusion know because he asked me what I thought about it. Man, the whole thing, like the match itself, it was okay. I mean, maybe because my expectations were way higher because of how their story has been coming into it. But their story being so good made me so interested in this match in general that I had to give it a little bump based on their story. And the story was great. Story's been great. It's the biggest story that they have going in Foundation in general, like as far as consistency of the story. The match itself, it was okay. I didn't hate it, and I think that they did the best they could do as far as with the technical issue they had. I don't really think they could have done anything better. It just sucks that it had to be that way.
Wait.
For me, the fact that it didn't even make it on the show makes it irrelevant to me. Like I don't even feel like covering it. That's my honest opinion. But to be fair, the build was amazing. And I just felt like the match didn't live up to the hype.
And this happens in the promo world. You'll see matches that are built hype-wise, and they just can't live up to that high expectation. I think this was built very well, right? I think the second highest story-wise probably for Foundation here. This was a great job by them doing that. But, yeah, the match didn't live up to it. It was okay. I'm with you on that. It got 2.5 stars. But it could have been better. It really could have. But, yeah, going from there, now look, we're going to start the Foundation show, because we're going to have both GMs here come on screen, and they're talking to each other before the opening credits. Wave, how did you feel about this? I see you already shaking your head.
This, in theory, right, if you look back at, GM versus GM storylines in wrestling history, I understand what they were going for. But as far as what I felt watching it, man, why would you let that set the tone of your big show? Like I was scared for the rest of the show when they started off with that. It was just underwhelming. It felt underwhelming to me.
Well,
It was just so dry. It was the delivery of it just didn't work out, and it was just so dry, and it just felt like a waste of my time. It didn't make me excited for anything. It didn't I guess the point was to remind you of the stakes of like Foundation versus WGP, and maybe they're building on that towards something later, like a Survivor Series type thing. but it just didn't do its job.
No, it kind of fell flat. Like they both need a shot of espresso put into them. They really need some energy here.
I
mean,
like them as GMs, but maybe not in this type of role when they got to do more than just announce matches and be technical.
Yeah, and here, let's break that down because we got those two. And then you've got Trevor Robinson, the overall seer here, it seems. A Hollywood's guy that he has brung out here for WGP and Foundation to oversee. How would you rate his work in comparison?
A+. I'm probably biased because he's my best friend, but also I'm not biased because he's my best friend, so I don't have any problem telling him he trash. Because we'll get to his match. I told him about that, but I don't have any problem telling him when he trash. But I really feel like he's doing about as great a job as you can do. Which I mean, I feel like Drew Coleman's up there too, but just not in this specific thing. Like what he's been doing before, he gets in, he gets out of the way. He reminds me of an NXT William Regal. I like that about him. He's not in my way, but he gets his point across.
Yeah, he's
just
not
like in this specific role, it didn't work.
Yeah, Wave.
Yeah, man. A very close niche group of people know that I hate Trevor in real life. And in spite of that, I think that Trevor got an A+ on this. He is honestly his whole storyline is put life back in Foundation for me, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I got it. He looks like 91 Paul Heyman. He's got the black jacket. He's got the hair. He needs to put that ponytail up for me and get a big 80s cell phone. That would be great. But he is doing a hell of a job. I'm telling you, his segments come on, my eyes are glued. I'm like, okay, what does he got to say? Like, I really want to know. Even if it's nothing that's majorly important, I still want to hear him talk. That's kind of how I feel. But, yeah, opening match. Here we go. Let's go with this, Wave. AT versus A-List. #1 contendership match.
Why didn't we start the show with this? Why couldn't this be the first thought in our minds as the show begins to blossom? This was amazing. This was great. This had so much story. This had so much charisma. This had so much swagger. Man, I'd love to see this match again. This was like a damn near perfect match, in my opinion.
It was. Bones?
I love this match. And I'm going to say some things that's going to sound like a conflicting statement. I love this match, but I was extremely let down by this match at the same time. But that's how good both of these guys are, honestly. So I don't feel like this was. I feel like when I saw this match on paper, I made 5 stars, right? In my mind, that's how good I think both of these guys are. So for me to say it's a 4-star match means that I was disappointed by what I was expecting, which is still great. Everybody else would love to have that, but for these two guys together, I did not get as good of a match as I was expecting. But at the same time, this shit was still fire. If it wasn't for the fact that I held the Foundation title against Don Krypton, this should have been the main event. Like this was the best match on the card, really. Main event match.
I mean, people say if you're not the main event, you want to be the opener, the second match on the card. This definitely can fit there. These guys have done a phenomenal job building. I can't wait to see them as a tag team. I hope they go after the tag team titles.
Lots of credit to Haywood for putting this match first, because if I'm watching this and I've never watched promos before and I watch this match first, I'm sticking around.
Yes.
This match will make me stick around and see what this stuff is about.
Yeah, big kudos to that. Let's go into Hollywood. Commentary. How are you feeling about his commentary? Have you seen the growth since he first took over there in Blueprint?
I'm surprisingly happy with it. When he took over, I really thought I was not gonna like it. To be honest, I don't know how I'm gonna tell Haywood that he suck at commentary, because I was expecting him to be trash at it. To be completely honest, and I'm really liking it. I mean, he's probably, to me, I'd probably put him 3rd best right now, because you can't top the organic feel of Lamar, and DB to me is just like top of the top, but like 3rd best. Still really good. I feel like he's doing a great job. Surprising. I'm surprised by it though. Obviously, I've said it like 8 times.
Would this have been better if RYK was in there?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I think they share the same type of commentary.
Mm-hmm.
So Haywood, RIK, they both work the same for me.
Okay. Wave?
I disagree. I miss RYK. I feel like to me, he's the voice of Foundation. And a year from now, if he's no longer a part of Foundation, 2 years from now, 3 years, 4 years, I will always go back to the voice of Foundation, RYK. Now, does that mean that Haywood did anything wrong? No. Haywood did nothing wrong. I see him getting better. He was well spoken. He was animated when he needed to be animated. He did the job. And it's unfortunate that I'd have to say something like I miss RYK because it makes it seem like he's not doing his thing. It just means to me that RYK is just on another level. But
Yeah.
but I think that Haywood is doing a great job as his contemporary.
Yeah, you could definitely see the progression from when he first started on Blueprint to the Glitz and Glory show. I mean, he really tried to, make sure that he was in and out, said what he needed to say, and move on to the next segment. Now, that's where we're going to get into that in a little bit, because right now we've got Mr. Wallace and Vagabond, Blueprint title. Wave, what do you got on that?
Man, this match almost stole the show for me, man, because obviously you expect AT List to knock it out the park. You expect the main event to be a main event. And both of those matches were phenomenal. But then these two came with so much story, so much heat. I thought these two guys really hated each other. And we got a new champion from it as well. And there's story behind it. This whole Don Krypton and Mayhem thing and BWO, it was just, and I wasn't expecting it. I thought it was going to be just a regular ass match, and it certainly was not a regular ass match.
No, Bones? You're on mute.
It was a regular ass match to me. I mean, I'm very disappointed in what I got from both of these guys. I mean, the right person won, but like, I don't know. I felt like I've seen them both be much better than this. I've seen them both be much better than this. So like, I was not happy with the match in itself. I was actually very disappointed, pretty much. Pretty much what I got. It was an okay match. If it was anybody else in this match, it probably would have been an okay to good match. It just wasn't that good to me. It was fine. I didn't want to turn my screen off or nothing like that. I was entertained a little bit, but like not like I should have been from these guys.
Yeah,
I'm fans of both.
I agree with that because they fought each other everywhere. I've seen higher matches out of them, more quality matches. It wasn't horrible, but I think, yeah, you're right. They could have stepped it up here a bit. I will say this, Vagabond and Mr. Wallace both doing bare bones promos. That is something that not a lot of people can do well. They pretty much did all in one take. They came out at each other. For that, I applaud, definitely. I thought it was a great match. That got 3 stars. Now, here you go, Bones. We got the Black Plague spot.
It was all right. This is like the first one, right? So I'm not mad yet. It happens. It's kind of cool. I feel like for some reason there's this whole thing with both WGP and Foundation where it's like, let's use the wall to do our hypes rather than doing a lot of hypes on our weekly shows. But then we get to the Super Show and we do 4 or 5 hypes instead of, we could have spread them out on the weekly shows and use the Super Show to be a super show with matches. Like, put the meat there. No Diddy.
No Diddy. Wait.
Yeah, this belonged on Blueprint. End of statement.
Yeah, I think they're dragging this story way too slow. Like, whatever they got to do, they got to get this out there, whatever the meaning behind all this. This reminds me of Wyatt Sick out here. It's just very much doesn't really do anything for me. Doesn't make me go excited like, oh God, I'm ready to see Black Plague.
It happens so much. We've talked about this. It happens so much in the promo world, specifically with Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt does something, and we see a trend of people doing Bray Wyatt stuff.
If everything is a surprise, then nothing is.
Yes, facts. And here we go. Let's go into this one. We'll let Wave start here. Trevor Robinson, AJ Storm.
This match was what it should have been. Going into it, it's obvious that AJ Storm's going to get bodied. He's going to come out there and do a lackadaisical promo while he's in the middle of his job. When I see stuff like that, it makes me wonder why you're doing it. You know, like why if you don't care, like why are you doing this? Like that's how I felt about his promo overall. And AJ, I'm here to help if ever you want help. But he makes me feel like he doesn't care. And when you don't care, I don't care as a fan. And that's what happens. But Trevor did what he was going to do. We all expected it. He bodied him. He did his thing. My only gripe is why were they judged so closely? Like Trevor shouldn't gotten a higher score, and AJ should have gotten a lower score. You know, there should have been at least like a 15, 16 point difference, in my opinion.
Bones?
And AJ, I've seen AJ on like interview shows where he is way more charismatic and way better of a talker. And this was one of his better promos to me. It tells me like you need to change up something that you're doing because you suck. Like you pretty much trash when you're actually cutting the promo, and it's not because you're trash. So like this is not your ceiling at all. So there's some disconnected somewhere because I watched him on like the fine print. I watched him on the fine print, and he was much better just talking. Like that was the most interesting thing he had ever done to me. He was outshining everybody else on that show. So why not just be like that? If that worked for you, whatever you were doing here, it felt like. I mean, it just feels like you don't care or try or whatever. It's just like you cut the mic on and be like, whatever. Here I am. I'm not no showing. That's basically what it feels like. I'm not going to no show promo. And as far as Trevor's promo goes, if you're gonna squash somebody, then squash them. Like this was it was lukewarm, pedestrian at best. Really wasn't that good. It was there. It was entertaining enough to watch through, but like if you're gonna squash them, then squash them. If you're not gonna squash them, like why are we having close fights with AJ Storm? The judges shouldn't even be confused about whether or not how close to make the score. I put that more on Trevor actually not doing much of anything. He could have done more.
Yeah.
I would have done more. You put me in a match with AJ Storm gonna die.
I think this match was right spot. It was number 3 on the card. I'm not counting the pre-show. That should have been elsewhere. But yeah, I mean, number 3 on the card is generally the bathroom break match. It's what it's called. You know, in professional wrestling it's 2, but in the promo world it's 3. It's like you want 2 good fire matches, which you got, and then you got that cool down spot that had minimal cares with it. I mean, Trevor did a great job. He came out there and did his thing. But yeah, this was basically a squash. This was bad. But here we go. This was probably my favorite spot out of both shows. And I'm talking about Franklin Benjamin. Franklin Benjamin came out here and just every time he's on, I want to see. I'm like him and Trevor Robinson right there. They could be back to back. I would be fully entertained.
Franklin Benjamin is a great gimmick. And it's the right person playing the gimmick. Like I couldn't do this as well as he's doing this gimmick. He's really killing it, and like I'm excited to see his hypes. I just am. Even in the middle of the show, this hype was I don't even care. Put it on Put Franklin Benjamin on the Super Show. Let Franklin Benjamin host. I don't care what you do. Give Franklin Benjamin all the time in the world if you want to right now. I'm impressed with him, and if this is something, he was drafted too low. Sure, you didn't know what you were getting, but like he's somebody who felt like he was drafted way too low at this point. I mean, I'm willing to see how this translates to his entire run as a promo artist going forward. But as we see it, this guy is really killing it. And this one didn't make me mad at all.
No. Wave, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm so happy for him, man. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for the product. I just only wish that this was the only hype on the big show. That would have really made it perfect. It's like, because when you put so many hypes, now it makes it feel like, his hype gets dragged into that mess. But it doesn't take away the fact that the character's fresh, the character's entertaining. He's he's the perfect guy, like Bones said, and I thought it was entertaining, very entertaining stuff. I told him that I liked his hype better than a match. That's how good it was.
Yeah, I'm totally on that. There's some matches like on this card, like the next one we got afterwards. That out one there, yeah, this was the worst match out of both shows in my opinion. Crooked Spade.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
I'm just saying this to me was awful. The three of us combined for 1.25 stars. I'm still trying to figure out how.
And that's high.
We don't even combine for 1 star because one of us was being too nice.
I'm not going to say who, but you guys can figure it out. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how Dr. Doof lost this match.
Man, Dr. Doof is not supposed to win no matches. Let's just put it out there. Dr. Doof is not supposed to win. By design, Dr. Doof shouldn't beat anyone. I don't care what the judges say. Dr. Doof washed him. This dude has so much promise. Like at any point, everybody looked at him like and been like, okay, he's got this like charisma about him. And he it's like he put that charisma, he put all that delivery, he put all that to the side, sat in his car and said, how can I throw this match? I've never been more bored by somebody, even when people are terrible at promos, they're so terrible that I can enjoy them being terrible. But there was nothing there. It was like watching a cardboard box with a drawing on it for 30 minutes and act like it was a television show. This promo was so bad. The only reason I personally gave this the Soul Star, which is our 1-star award, the only reason I went up to 1 star is because I was kind of entertained by Dr. Doof. A little bit. Dr. Doof is not supposed to be entertaining, though. Like, he's not supposed to win. You're not supposed to lose to Dr. Doof. Nobody is, ever. You lost to Dr. Doof. I don't care what the judges say. Dr. Doof washed you. This was basically a squash match. I would never. I wish I had a saw so I can cut my arm off just to have something to throw at Sam Spade for making me watch that.
Hate.
Yeah, man. That was the worst Dr. Doof promo I've ever watched in my life. And even by that metric, he still exceeded Crooked Spade by miles. A Soul Star was not low enough grading this match. The whole point of drafting and having 2 shows is so that we could put more focus on some of these dedicated guys that come up every week. Like your Soul Storms, like your Crooked Spade, like your Alphas. And it feels like since we had this draft, Crooked Spade has lost his identity completely. Like, he's not as passionate, he's not as buggy-eyed, he's not spitting facts, he's not spitting fire. He's got this low monotone, type of promo going on. He's in his car. He's in places that just completely ruin the aesthetic. He's in portrait mode, and his music is ass. Like, this goes to Crooked Spade and everyone. I'm gonna take this moment as a teachable moment for all of you. I don't care if you're a legend. I don't care who you are in the promo game. If your intro music reminds me of a wrestler, you have failed.
Completely.
When I see Crooked Spade or whomever, I should not be thinking about Roman Reigns. I should not be thinking about Triple H. I should not be thinking about anyone except you. Crooked Spade, you need to find yourself again or stop wasting your time.
When we the BWO in general first started watching other E-Feds and we saw Sam Spade, we were all like, yo, we got to get this dude in BWO. He has something. If I had watched this promo, I'd be like, you know what? Nah, we don't really want that.
I can 100% attest to that. When I first saw Crooked Spade, I asked the BWO council, why is he not here?
So to be clear, Crooked Spade, we don't think you suck. We just think you suck lately.
Yes, it was like an ESPN 30 for 30 documentary. I'm like, dude, I don't want to hear your story. I want you to make me excited here or something.
You looking like Vince Carter in year 21.
Jeez.
We still remember that time you dunked on somebody, but
Damn it. And the next one here, yeah, we got yet another spot. Yes, this time the end making his appearance, and we have to talk about him coming up in future shows. The current FTW championship. How do you guys feel about that? Whoever wants to start there?
if there's anything that was worse than that match, it was watching this man's theme music play for like 18 minutes straight, looked like a card from Here Comes the Pain. Like I felt like I was back on the PlayStation 2 when the load times were super slow and I had to just watch a picture. Why? Like in general, just why? I don't understand why at all. Like did we need some more time? I don't understand at all why this decision was made. And if it was made, did nobody watch this before they played it? This was so much like it was so nothing. It just wasted all the it was like the just as much as I hate the countdown. It was like a countdown to the next match of just him in different poses, playing music that I don't even like. The only thing about him that I liked was the end.
Hey, go ahead.
I cannot stress this point enough. I'm a big advocate for intro music.
Yeah.
But let's be real. We are online. No one's coming out. There's no fans cheering us. There's no ramp where we're walking down. Music is a choice. You know, it adds individuality, a little bit of personality. But some of you guys are overdoing it. The magic number is like 15 to 25 seconds. Over 45 seconds is irresponsible. What the Purge decided to do is just it's just idiotic. And I blame everyone. At this point, not one individual is responsible. I blame Justin. I blame PPA. I blame Foundation. I blame WGP. How do we as a collective group of adults allow a 2-minute intro music just play? We can press pause. We have that ability.
Foundation, I will say, okay, he came back. But Foundation, I will say this: if you had got rid of those last two things, y'all probably would have outscored WGP this month. You probably would with those last two things off the card completely. And I don't really blame you for having that Sam Spade versus Dr. Deuce match on the card for a Super Show because it was built since the last one, something about fires or something. But it was built from the last one, so I get it. And that's really just the fact that Sam Spade did not bring Sam Spade to the match. He brought Samuel Spaderson. So that one I get. But the whole Purge thing, we could have did without that.
Yeah,
We probably would have tied. That's how much that ruined the show for me in the middle. I didn't even want to complete. I've said at the beginning of the show, I'm a mark for myself. That Purge thing, the end thing, I would have cut my stream off and not watch myself if I didn't have to do this.
I mean, you figure somewhere Storyteller Master of Illusions would have been thrown in, but you still would have had cutscene match. Not really a big thing, but yeah, let's go into the next one here. Swamp Donkey Bobby Miller.
What a surprise. I had been getting told how good the Swamp Donkey thing is, and whatever. I really enjoyed this dumbass match. Because that's what it was. It was a stupid match, and I enjoyed it on both ends. I enjoyed the fact that Bobby, in his infinite wisdom, decided to match the energy of Swamp Donkey and give me just this goofy, stupid match that I really enjoyed, as idiotic as it was, start to finish. And then Bobby turned to serious at the end, which made it even better. And the digs that came from Briggs, I wish I had got more Jay Briggy, but the digs that Jay Briggy brought during the Swamp Donkey match, I enjoyed. I like this match a lot. I just like this match. I didn't expect to. I definitely did not expect to really. I really expected to see a squash match that was too goofy for me to enjoy, and I did not get that. I got something super entertaining.
Yeah. I mean, I love this match in general. I just wish I could see Jay Briggy take on Bobby Miller, not Swamp Donkey. Swamp Donkey's okay. It's a good comedy spot. But when you get Jay Briggy in full force anger mode, where he wants to promo and literally come rip somebody's head off, going to take on Bobby Miller, that's must-see television.
Maybe this leads to that down the road. If this leads to that down the road, and this is kind of part of the story to get to that, I would appreciate this match even more.
Yes. Wave.
Yeah, man. There's room for everyone. There's room for every different style. This Swamp Donkey or whatever his name is reminds me a lot of like the golden era with Doink the Clown and Duke the Dumpster Drozy and guys like that. And I'm not here for that. But I understand if other people are. I don't want to like shit on other people's like taste or whatever. But that being said, I can't agree more, man. I enjoyed this match for all the wrong reasons. And the fact that Bobby Miller came out there with the nip slip.
I was still staring at the titties though.
Woo! Now that's a silly version of Bobby that I haven't really seen yet, and I thought it was brilliant. Like nah, you're gonna present this as my competition, that I'm not gonna take this match serious then. But then he still went in ice cold mode towards the end of the promo and still like finished off strong and bodied him. He gave us the funnies, he gave us the kill shot, very well balanced. But had he been just laying into him for 4 minutes, that would have been probably less fun, because you would have been thinking about, man, why is Bobby even in this match? Or he's going too serious for a competitor that's basically a comedy act, But Bobby did the brilliant thing of approaching the match the right way.
Yeah, it was a great job. Like I said, I really want to see the real match whenever Swamp Donkey leaves Jay Briggy, if that ever happens. But yeah, we get another cut spot, the final one, thank God. Gene Emerson, production, please turn up his volume. You can barely hear him. I have my TV on max. I can't hear him. Either one of you want to talk about that?
Well, Gene Emerson, man. Gene Emerson, come here. Come here, buddy. Come here. Gene Emerson, you have some things that I like. You have a certain comfortability. You know how to speak. You have a cadence that I like, but I already told you, you need to put emphasis when you speak. You need to really let your words and let your voice pop out, man. You have to let it pop out, man. Even if somebody would have came out and hired your volume, it wouldn't change the fact that your words, though kind of good, have no energy in them, no charisma to them, no punch to them, no power to them. You gotta work on delivery. You need to work on delivery, or else no one's going to believe you as the Golden Boy. You have a very big opportunity here to defeat someone like Don or AT or whomever is the champion by the time you challenge. But if you don't work on your delivery, no one's going to believe you, and the judges aren't going to believe you. And another thing I strongly suggest, you have to get away from taking other people's slogans, man. There's certain things that you say that just remind me of LA Knight or The Miz or someone else. And it goes back to what I was saying about Crooked Spade. If when you're promoing or when you're doing a hype, I end up thinking of another person, you failed.
Bones, you got anything to add on that?
No, but I will say this: by the time Gene had spoken, I was so tired of those spots between things that I totally tuned him out. So I don't even know what his thing was about, honestly.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, we got the main event here. We've got Don Krypton, Ultra Ego Bones, Guts and Glory match. Bones, I'm going to let you speak on this first because you need to. Yeah, you tell us about your experience in this.
This was such hard fucking work to the point. I don't know if you can tell how things went up and down behind the scenes because it's like a 2-week match for us. Even though like in real time it was 2 weeks. And like the beginning was like a filling out phase for like I don't really know how to do this match. In the middle, it was like okay, let me try some stuff that's actually working. And towards the end, it was like, please let's end this motherfucking match. And this shit been going on for too goddamn long. And when I will say that this match translated much better as a match than I expected it to. It was much better watching it back to back, watching the little hearts go away or whatever. All that was much better than like I had expected. I really thought I was gonna be shitting on this match, but I'm still gonna shit on this match. I'm gonna shit on myself more so than anything else because there was a lot of terrible 1-minute spots in there from me personally. I just don't. I really don't even feel like I don't feel like this is something that should be revisited. Or if you are gonna revisit, you gotta have the right people who are good at that type of thing. It seemed like I would be perfect for that. It seemed like I would squash Don Krypton in that scenario beforehand, but no, not at all. And I really feel like he deserved that win. I feel like it was a good match, especially when when you watch it all come together at the end. But it wasn't the main event from WGP being just a straightforward match between two people who hate each other versus this back and forth between two people who hate each other kind of deal. The main event from what's it called? I don't want to call it Heat Wave again. Too Hot to Handle.
Bringing the Heat.
Bringing the heat. There we go.
The main event from Bringing the Heat was so much better than the main event from Guts and Glory to me, like by a lot. I can't see myself ever watching, and plus it's 15-minute match. I can't see myself ever rewatching that match, but I will rewatch me versus Ramboa. So there's no replay value whatsoever on the 15-minute match for me ever. I don't care who it is. Like. No, there was one match that was that long that I would replay, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But overall, in general, most of the time, you're not going to get me watch a 15-minute match twice.
Hey, man, that was my first time watching a Guts and Glory match, and I totally don't share the sentiments of Bones because I didn't have to do the work. I'm just showing up as a fan. And as a fan, this match exceeded my expectations because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what the hell? A 15-minute match? I don't want to watch that shit. But then when I watched it, and these are two of my favorite competitors in Bones and Don Krypton. And I'm like, and to me, they over-delivered. They over-delivered to the point where I was like, yo, I want to have this match one day. Maybe me and DB Greatness could have this match one day and see if we could keep up with Don Krypton and Bones. But I love this match. I really enjoyed it. And the icing on the cake was Don Krypton revving up in that last round. Like right when he needed to rev up is when he just went for the kill. So
no, that was so perfect as far as like the story of the match itself. It ending the way that it ended was so perfect. Because that was one thing I was also scared of it ending on like a flat or okay note. Because it could end at any time without us really even knowing. We really didn't know the score. So like it could have ended on anything, and that was one of my fears. Was like it won't have a finale, but Don Krypton really ended it well.
Yeah, he definitely did. I mean, I've seen the Guts and Glory match now for 3 years. This is the third one. I would say they have definitely progressed in it. The first one was okay. The second one, it passed, but this one here had more comedy with it later on in the match. A lot of good, entertainment value as far as that. I enjoyed it as well. I mean, this match, it got, 3 3/4 stars. The overall show grade was 3 1/4. So, I mean, there was a little bit of different. 3 1/4 here. I'm sorry. Yep. It was close here between these two shows. Both these guys came out here very strong, WGP Foundation. You guys want to give some final thoughts on what you think about the overall with this, with both of them?
Yeah. I thought that both shows exceeded my expectation. My expectation for WGP was higher than Foundation, and that reflects I think that the thing that really puts it over for me with WGP was obviously a couple of well balanced matches, people that really make sense together and have built up to that point. But the commentary cannot be overstated, man. Lamar Wallace on commentary is just, he gets it. He gets it. He knows how to put his roster over. He knows how to put the show over. He brings the right energy. I feel like there's certain things that are just not my taste over in Foundation. But I will say that in these few weeks, I think the spirit of competition has made them put more effort into it. And there's things that I was expecting like low from them that really was like pretty good. I was like, so I apologize. I'm going in a lot about the hypes and the untimed hypes because I don't want that to overshadow how good some of these matches were. And Haywood on commentary has been very good, despite the fact having to follow up RYK. So I think those are all positives. Yeah, that's just how I feel overall.
You don't want the hypes to overshadow how good the matches were, but the problem is that they literally did. There's nothing you could do about the fact that the hypes were there, and they did overshadow a lot of the matches because it made me angry that I watched these hypes. I really felt like something up in the pit of my stomach after watching that video from the end that bothered me so much I didn't want to watch the show anymore. So they're there. And I would say, and this goes to actually both of them could have done so much better if they would have trimmed the fat from the get-go. If they would have trimmed the fat from the get-go, it was so much better. One thing I will say I did appreciate from Blueprint, I'm not from Blueprint, from Foundation this time, is that their show was only like an hour, 10 minutes, something like that, which is less than what either it just feels like it's always 2 hours, but I feel like these super shows are like closer to 2 hours every time. And actually, Bringing the Heat was like 2 hours.
Yes.
Which was way too long. I got through it fine, but it was way too long. And they had a bunch of stuff they could have cut and still had a good time. If they had cut some of those matches that didn't belong on like the Super Show in general, they would have had a much higher score. And also, if our Foundation would have cut these fucking what you call it, the hypes, they would have cut these hypes out. They would have had a much higher score. So you guys got to trim the fat. That's my opinion. Trim the fat. Stop giving us stuff that we don't want just because you think we need to have stuff there. You don't need to have it all. And you utilize your shows more. Foundation's been losing to WoW every week, and that's because WoW utilizes WoW way more as far as their hypes than Foundation does. You're using more of your hypes on the Super Show. All these hypes could have been on Blueprint. I wouldn't have been half as mad that if the end hype was on Blueprint. I wouldn't have been half as mad. I still would have been mad because it was fucking stupid that's all he did was play some music. But that's neither here nor there. I do feel like Bringing the Heat was a little bit. I feel like our scores reflected perfectly that how I felt about the Super Shows and the entire month in general. I feel like that Foundation is barely losing to WGP at this point. But I feel like Foundation needs to make a change because it's gonna snowball real quick.
And that's what we're going to find out. Are they going to like adapt to these changes, or are they going to keep going the same route and hoping for the best? That's what I'm curious on more than everything. But yeah, a lot of great matches on both sides. I'm kind of interested to see some stuff going down the road, how it's going to happen. But yeah, they need to cut out these gaps. You know, it definitely needs to happen. But yeah, there we go, folks. There's our reviews of WGP and Foundation. Thank you, Wave. Thank you, Bones. I'm Dr. Quack. We will see you next month. We'll see what happens.